Call the meeting to order. Can I have a mover and a seconder to open the meeting? Councillor Framboise, Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Potier. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby opens the regular meeting of Council at 6 p.m. on August 13, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried. Just note all members are present for this council meeting. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Atikameksheng Anishinaabe. We also wish to recognize our neighboring community of Dokis First Nation. While we meet today, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous people and their culture. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held August 13, 2025 be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? Carried. Disclose pecuniary interest, Councillor Fallon.
None, your worship.
Councillor Loftus.
None, your worship.
Councillor Potier.
None, your worship.
Councillor Lachance.
None, your worship.
And none for myself. Any questions from the public? No? Any announcements from council?
None for myself.
None
No.
for myself.
None, your worship.
Okay, and none for myself either. Tonight we have a presentation from Jean-Paul Do regarding field bed request, I believe. The floor is yours.
I'd like to start with, when I first bought the property, it was all okayed for field bed. I was talked into going for sewer, and I thought it was a great idea. Until I found out that a lift kit in front of the arena was needed, and that was about $500,000. We did more research, and after $85,000 in engineers, we determined that maybe we could go sewer halfway and down to at the end of Casimir Road there. We can connect there. We just found out that blasting is involved. And from Tomahawk Engineering, at the bottom where you leave Casimir and you turn onto Parkview, that floods every year. So it's very unstable. To go from there and up the rock is not a good idea because one's weaker than the other, you know what I mean? And blasting, I spoke to someone who blasted Sugarfish Road a few years ago, cost them about $12,000. For me to blast, it's $100,000. To bring the sewer up from Casimir to Parkview doesn't pay me because I don't own any lots, building lots. So I'm asking council to revert back to field beds. Merely because, merely, I think I spent enough money. And I just want to proceed with what I've been doing for St. Charles without any help. And I don't want any help. I just want to be left alone, do my thing, make some money and make money for St. Charles so St. Charles can advance. Here is the proposal for class 4 system. He talks about, you have it in front of you, he talks about where it goes. But for me, it's 100%, I don't want to spend any more money on it. doing the road, I'm continuing Parkview and Greenwood. If you let me do field trips. Basically it, I guess, if there's any questions.
Okay. Any questions for the moment? Not. It will be directed to staff.
Yes, staff. We did receive prior delegation from another builder, and after they had discussed it, I guess it was brought forward that it was already okayed for his lots. Do we know if his lots have been approved?
So,
Yes.
through you, your worship, I believe Mr. Doe was asking for the remainder of the lots on Parkview to be,
Yeah, the remainder, yeah.
To
The other
be
ones are-
So it's just the other person
and those
also?
have not
Okay,
been.
because the other builder was prior,
Correct.
right, and we didn't know? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that, so how long would this take for him to, once we okay it, or?
Well, it
Proceed.
will go back to staff. Staff are gonna look at it,
Like
make
next month?
and come back and make a recommendation. By next month, that's something
We just
that-
don't wanna delay, I'm sure his,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
You can ask when do you need a decision by that would affect your?
Oh, I'm here for a good half hour. As soon as possible. Right now, we have the turnaround, it's gonna be approved. I spoke to Leon about that, what you needed from the lawyers. So right now, we're okay, but I sold 3 lots to Edmund, who owns the
Food market?
market.
Yeah.
We're building on one of his lots, yeah, I'm the builder still. And after him is lot 9, and so we'd like to progress. It's very important that if council says okay, that we put the road now, because there is, in the spring, it's just gonna flood again and hold us up. So we have to, there's certain things that Tomahawk has to do to the soil, you know, to straighten it up for us. But that's a cost that, of course, I'll incur.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I think St. Charles makes money with me. I've built enough houses now. I'd like to request, I was promised something from the previous council. I was promised that if I built 4 houses on Sugarfish Lane where I live, that the city would pave. I built 5, I don't see no pavement. Just a thought.
Any more questions? Any questions, Councillor Loftus?
No, I have no questions.
Councillor Putzi?
No, I mean, we'll have a staff report brought back, and I think that'll be the decision will be made then, but I think we know which way it's going, so, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Councillor
Only
Shaw?
one question is,
Yeah.
as you were speaking there, you mentioned lot 9, but it's not on your request here. You have 26, 6, 7, and 8. There's 9 to be in your request here.
9 already has been.
Okay.
Yeah, those were one of the ones that were previously.
No, Guyan is already good for a field day.
Yeah.
It's just that the
Turnaround.
turnaround is on lot 9. So we'd like to move on and be able to build. I don't think we can build on a turnaround, can we?
Oh.
No. And it's Edmund's lot, so we'd like to put the road in now and, you know, move on, right?
Okay,
Make more money for St. Charles.
okay.
And me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay.
Okay, next item is item 4.11, report to council emergency water supply grant, prepared by James.
Good evening, everybody. You have the report in front of you. It's relatively straightforward. We really just need the resolution from council this evening so we can get the vendor started and get this project completed before the frost hits the ground.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions?
and then for myself,
Okay,
None for myself.
Councillor,
The pump size reduction that's mainly just for the filling of the tanks, right? Not for, like, taking the water out?
Pumping out.
It is for pumping out,
Yeah.
yeah? Is it a substantial pump size reduction, or it's not gonna affect it too
We're gonna
much? Like-
cut it by about 40%. When the vendors came and did their walkthrough, they basically unanimously said, you're going to have to completely redo the service to the entire property, new panels, upgrades, the whole 9 yards.
To go to the larger
To
pump.
go to the larger pump.
Okay,
So when they came back and we had the conversation, it was like, well, if you change your pump, there's lots of money that comes
Needs to
out.
go.
And it's still adequately sized to do what we want it to do.
okay,
Just at a little bit of a slower rate.
yeah, hey, sounds good, thanks.
thank you. Councillor Lachance?
Yeah, it's nice to see that it's coming in under budget, even with the larger pump and the more cost savings, the better, and as far as I'm concerned, we'll still be able to service better with that system than we can now, so. Thanks for your report.
All right, thank you very much. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution? Councillor Loftus and Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles awards the contract for the design, supply, and installation of an emergency water storage and collection system at the fire hall to Canadian Shield Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $152,000 plus HST.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, we have a report, item 421, review of policy, unopened, unmaintained roads, prepared by Michelle.
Thank you, Portia. So the review of policy is brought before council because we have had multiple requests for residents to do upgrades on roadways that are currently not listed within our road classification bylaw as if they've been maintained or unopened. So staff is seeking direction on to update that policy so we can more streamline on how we manage some of these requests that come in. There's been discussions with the chief building official of the lack of clarity on where to go when we are looking at people purchasing properties and we don't have historical records of them being maintained for maybe more than 20 years, and how we are going to proceed with them getting their building permits or to do upgrades on those properties. So an updated policy would assist with us to deal with requests of maintenance or improvements to these road allowances and provide a better definition of us entering into private road agreements with residents that do want to maintain roads that we currently don't maintain. And it would allow for us to deal with disputes regarding access or assumption of responsibility. Attached to this report was a request from some residents that are here this evening for Crawford Road. So this is also being set on the table for tonight as to see if council is willing to provide them to enter into an agreement with the municipality so as they can do some maintenance on a portion of the seasonally unmaintained road.
Okay. Any questions or
Not for
comments?
myself, I'm in agreement with the recommendation.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm in agreement with recommendation and also have no objections with Michelle going into an agreement with somebody to have access to their roads.
okay. Councillor Putzi?
So there's quite a few, I guess, updates that you're proposing to do to the policy. I presume that'll obviously come more fleshed out at a later date, but and you also mentioned possibly some legal counsel in getting in the policy in the final draft, or?
For you, Ms.
Yep.
Marcia. It would be the municipality's best interest to seek legal counsel to ensure that the liability of these roads that are being maintained into private agreements hold us harmless.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you. And Yeah, as far as an open road allowance goes, I see no issues with the application. Would you have any comments on the application or any concerns?
I think that we should enter into private agreement, that's my.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Lachance, any further questions?
Yeah, just there's a lot of history with roads that maybe should have been titled as a lane or something other than road in the past, and maybe that leads to misconceptions and stuff. So, as coming back with a new reviewing the policy and trying to clear this up, of course, we want people to be able to use their land. We don't want it to just sit there vacant. So, I don't think it's a bad idea. And yeah, thanks for your report.
All right. Therefore, the recommendation to proceed with seeking legal counsel and all of the items listed. Thank you very much. Next item 422, report to council, rehabilitation of village streets, prepared by Michelle.
Okay. So the report is pretty straightforward. We received the tenders through Merck's and through paper copy at the office. I received 2. They were sent to our engineering firm EXP. They were reviewed and then a recommendation was developed from those tenders. The award or tender review and recommendation award letter is within the agenda package, and staff supports the recommendation from the engineer.
Okay, and this is the higher price, the higher end price, because he was stating that they were, by doing minor modifications, they might find savings, if I read it correctly.
There is modifications that we can change the scope to decrease some of those costs that are within the budget, yes. But
Okay.
this is the lower costing.
Yes.
It's the lowest bid that is
Oh,
being
yeah.
awarded.
Yeah, okay. Any questions, Councillor Boyce?
I'm just iffy about the recommendation of the contractor. If you look at his past, how can I say that? To be very, so I'm not sure if you guys looked into his history of this contractor or,
Well, he's bonded, right?
pardon me?
They're bonded. Like,
Yeah. I would rather recommend MCA contracting for $400 and some more. 400,000, yeah.
Okay.
There's, yeah, not sure if I'm in agreement with the recommendation,
All right,
yeah.
have anything to add?
It's just, yeah, just pass, yeah, that's my, I'm not gonna go into details, but, yeah, he owned a different construction company in the past, and there was some issues brought forward
Okay,
in 2015 and 2016, so.
Councillor Loftus.
I'm in agreement with the recommendation put forth. I mean, you look at the stats and the history of these people, they're, you know, I mean, they've been awarded millions of dollars of contracts and they've completed them. And, you know, I think North Bay was one of the roads that they had completed, and to me, it was fine. So, I mean, if staff is recommending deep construction, then I'm in favor.
Okay. Councillor Putzi?
Yeah, it's a quite a costly project. We've looked at the engineering reports and everything for the roads. It's been a while that we've been working on this project. I had a chance to look quite in depth into both you know, tenders and looking at the different contractors, because I wanted to look at somebody who has a good history, just because I wasn't aware, or I wasn't familiar with either of those contractors. MCA seems to have taken on quite a few larger projects in the ranges of you know, $8 to $9 million projects, Main Street rehabilitation in North Bay, and many other like substantial projects. From what I've found, Deep, the majority ended up in like the $1.5 million projects, you know, smaller scale, but bridges, stuff like that. I hadn't seen a whole lot in the terms of like, you know, like a whole village rehabilitation like that, but that was kind of my preference for MCA as well. But you know, at the end of the day, it's quite a substantial cost difference to the taxpayers, which is what is effective in the long run. But I think it's understanding that if that's a substantial enough difference to, you know, are we going to go with the vendor who might not have taken on that substantial project yet, and they may deliver, they may deliver very well, or they may have some hiccups along the way. I don't know. I'm just a little bit concerned about it. It's quite a substantial project that we're taking on. As
It's a lot of money.
yeah, so that's just my concern. I do have concerns with the project timelines. Unfortunately, we're cutting it very close to the winter months for paving and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting into the end of October for paving of phase 1, so we're getting very close to where we're gonna end up with torn up roads for the winter. Essentially, is what may end up happening here. Yeah, I don't know if there is I know. I believe Deep was asking about, you know, completing or pushing the completion of the phases to next year. I believe what was one of their questions, and it gets to that, right? It's if they're already asking the question of why do we want it done, or why are we asking for it to be done by this, you know, by the end of this construction year. Well, it kind of leaves you a little bit doubtful that it can be done before the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite a substantial project. We're at the end of August almost, right?
Yeah, personally, if they request and they recommend for whatever reason that it fall into the following year, because of the scope of the project, and I'd be willing to let them go with that. But we have to remember, it's not just an in-house sort of, they will be followed by EXP, who are engineers that are gonna be monitoring and assuring that we have a quality product at the end.
And in doing it in the 1 year, we save on the mobilization costs that they were referring to as well. Because right now, because they have to mobilize this year and next year, it's an extra 100,000 each, or whatever the case is. So it just adds more.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I'm saying if they make the request, in my mind, we should.
Well, that's included in their bids.
Yeah.
2 mobilizations.
We also have the sidewalks too, then we gotta make sure that
They're done in
by
time.
March, right? March of
Yeah.
2020.
Is it March?
Yes, it's March. So for the sidewalks, in talking with EXP, there's a mitigation we can do. We can build the sidewalks before completing the roads, because there's no infrastructure underneath, except there's 2 storm drains that he will design and insulate the pipe and then reconnect when they do the road. So worst case scenario, whether it's either of them, they'll have a set of design, we'll do the sidewalks before the road, but we would get it in this year.
Yeah.
So there's a mitigation for the sidewalks. We're also applying NORDS funding to this project, and that's roughly $500,000. That has to be expensed this year. So somehow we do have to spend roughly around $400,000 to $500,000 in this section of work completed. But the sidewalks, I mitigated that one we'll do it first before completing the road. It'll seem backwards, but I was assured they can be done.
Yeah. Okay. Any further questions or comments?
No, like, as Councillor Laframboise mentioned, there is some history there, but, you know, whether or not anything that came of it, you know, there's always, some companies always have a little bit of a rocky past, but it's in the past. I've spoken to Mayor of Surgeon Falls regarding the company as well, and they've had good experience with Deep, and that's in recent years. So I haven't spoke to anybody about MCA. Most people that I've spoken to weren't really aware. They don't know the company. So while they've done projects kind of sporadically across the province, they haven't, like, they're based out of Sudbury, but they don't mainly only work in Sudbury. So they've done some pretty large project. So
think
I don't know.
contractor would be Pioneer, eh? I think for MCA,
Both,
or is it
both paving contractors are Pioneer, and both sidewalk contractors are Butiny. I forget what the name was. It was some, yeah, it was, but yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's one or the other, but it's a substantial cost. But we got to remember it's the core of St. Charles too. So that's, yeah.
Okay. So are you recommending to
I'm-
accept the recommendation?
I'm almost recommending MCA at this point. I don't know. I'd like to hear what Councillor Lachance and yourself would have to say about this matter.
Okay. Councillor Deschamps?
For me personally, like, I didn't do a deep dive into the history of the two companies. They are both bonded bidders.
Yeah.
The bond is only $150,000. I understand it's a low amount for this project, but they are bonded. When you start getting into doing municipal projects, I'd like to think that people know that they have to have, that it's a good opportunity to grow their businesses, and if they have a good review and a good report back, so. For $400,000 difference, I'd kind of be stuck sticking with the recommendation for deep construction, but I would have a word in there if they plan on continuing the construction into the following year, that the prices are not changing. It has to be locked and guaranteed their bid, because what they'll do is sometimes the bid gets pushed a year later, and then the cost of materials go up. Well, it has to be locked in, because it wouldn't be out of necessity for us. It's out for them to be able to manage their projects at this point.
I believe the price would be locked in because it's a full project bid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave their Gantt charts and their whole scope of everything. So there is projects. I believe, what was it, St. Joseph and Notre Dame are part of next year's. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you get into the change orders, because of over the winter season, the base material that they put in heaped so much because there wasn't a proper top layer, and our plowing there's a whole lack of different conditions that could affect that. So it just, regardless, the change orders and such that would come in due to the fact of leaving it unfinished over the winter should not need apply, in my opinion.
Okay. Therefore, can I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution to accept deep construction? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Deschamps?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles awards the contract for the rehabilitation of Casimir Road, King Street East, and St. Joseph Street to Deep Construction 2018 Inc. in the amount of $4,692,372.08 plus HST.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, item 431, report to council, facilities, fees and charge revision. Prepared by Pamela, but is there, who's gonna be speaking? I don't think there's too much to it, but if anybody have any questions on that item, Councillor
None
Laframboise,
for myself.
Councillor Loftus,
None for myself.
Councillor Potier.
No, I think it's good. I actually apologize. I did have a question. So I know as per Ontario Regulation 268/18, it was page 29. Apologies, highlighted in yellow. So it was added the section about the Smoke Free Ontario Act. Now I know it's no smoking or vaping of tobacco and or cannabis on the grounds of community recreational facility and public areas within 20 meters of the grounds, including but not limited to arenas, pools, gyms. So that's a public health regulation. So this is being put in there, but that's like, it's on us to govern that, right? Like, I'm trying to understand how, like, because it's come up a lot, right, in discussions and meetings and everything. Like, if there is a individual who is smoking on property, like, it's not.
That's a provincial.
It's a provincial, so we're not going to be governing that. It's if there's provincial. So and that question's come up. Obviously, people probably know about when it's come up, but it's provincial. I'm trying to understand what we've done or what we're doing to try to mitigate that, other than we're also in terms of if there's, you know, cigarette butts or something laying around, which is a common thing, we're trying to go after, you know, maybe the rentees and stuff like that, in terms of them not picking it up, which obviously if they're the ones that are littering, they're the ones that are littering, but I just wanna make sure that that stays out of it, and that, like, we're not gonna be, like, cause they're not the ones controlling people on public grounds at all times, right? They're public grounds, they're on the parking lot, so like, we shouldn't be being punitive with the rentee if there's people smoking on the grounds, right?
So-
It's not the rentee's responsibility on public grounds if there's somebody smoking in public grounds, right? Like, I understand it's, it really sucks to find cigarette butts everywhere, I you know, really despise it myself, but, it's just, I know it's happened in the past, but, yeah, it's happened in the past, and I think we need to make sure, like, we're all on the same page, and that, like, it's a provincial law. We shouldn't try to be enforcing it. I understand we're enforcing the cleanup of it, but it's because it's public grounds, it's hard to govern that, in that it's, are you specifically saying it's the renter exactly who's doing it, or a member of the public, or, yeah.
Also, you want the renter to be aware of this.
100%, yeah,
And
you wanna be aware of it, yeah.
And if for whatever reason, some of the people that he is working with or that are taking care of the
Yeah.
facility are found to be, you want them to be able to say, oh, nobody told me about it.
Yeah.
So now at least it's written
Yeah.
in there, and they're aware of it. If they are the ones that would be responsible for patrons, I'm not sure. Any comments on that?
So I'll have the reason why it's in there. So I did meet with the other CAOs, the bylaw inspectors for public health. We have to do a reasonable effort to notify the users of the properties that is at no smoking grounds. The director of operation did meet with their inspectors. They're going to be installing no smoking signs everywhere in the park. If we're found not to have done reasonable to make the renters aware, as owners of the property, we could also be fined if people are smoking on the ground. So having the signs, having the renters smoking in the baseball field, I'm sure there was a few, the people would be charged, and because they go up the change. But if we did everything, we're transferring responsibility. You are responsible to tell everyone it's it's an open sports field, there's no smoking on it, so they would also be caught up. The reason we're doing it is to do our reasonable step as a property owner to prevent it. If they see we did everything, the person smoking is gonna get the fine, and it's gonna stop there. If we don't do this effort, provide the education to the lessees, provide proper signage, we would now get fined under the act.
Should we include in there somewhere that they are responsible to make their patrons aware of the?
They're renting our facilities, right, for
Yeah.
the most part, so.
But if they're, as renters, they're expecting people to come in, should we, or do we have a response to tell them, now they have the responsibility to pass it on? Or is that, now that they've read it, it's assumed that they know to do this?
We can, the language can be validated with the bio inspector, the public health inspector. But as far as I understand is, as long as.
We would have been.
Our reasonable is we have to advise them, and they know it's a no smoking event.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I know they have other challenges than smoking going on. It's a massive event. But if you do everything, and if they do everything, they see somebody, they tell everyone, it's no smoking, they add it into their team registration, no smoking grounds.
Yeah.
Whether we can straighten up this language to make sure that they just make everyone aware. People can still be smoking, but they will be the ones facing the fines.
That's it, and it'll stop there.
Because there's physically
I
no
wouldn't
way.
want one of our renters that they see this, they're aware, but they have no clue of how to proceed.
They can't control that size of a crowd.
Exactly,
especially this big
but
crowd.
as long as they would have, like you stated, put it in the registration, but making people aware, as long as they would have done their due diligence also, But
Yeah.
I'm wondering, should we advise them of some of this?
It could
Or-
be, expanded in the contract, like.
Just to avoid them that afterwards being penalized or fined if a smoker is found to be on the fields?
Yeah, definitely we can add some, like an example of, please, in all registration or publication, just make sure it's a smoke-free
Share
ground.
this, yeah.
And if they smoke, there's like at the end of one baseball field, there's no way
No,
to.
it's not to have them policing it, but making sure that they've
They did
shared the
their part.
information, yeah,
And it's the same what we're doing.
yeah.
We're just, everyone's on board, so it's only the one person at the end that's going to get the fine.
Okay. Anything to add, Councillor Deschamps?
No, just that's a good point to bring up, Councillor Passe, and good discussion had here. I don't think that our bylaw is out enforcing the smoking, but they can enforce the littering. So that's just one side note to that.
Yeah. All right. I think that, okay, so we're good for that item, and would we want to have the added note put in there? Councillor Framboise to help guide, or,
I think it's, yeah,
yeah, okay.
it's, would be
Yes,
clearer.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think the signs in the
Oh, the
fields-
signs in the
Signs.
field
We
and all
need
that.
those signs to
That-
identify this is a no smoking area.
Yeah, it'd be
all
nice
of
to
that
hang
is-
them on some dugouts, eh? Oh, we-
Okay, you're in agreement?
Yeah, that's fine.
And yourself, Councillor Deschamps? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And next, item 4.41, report to council request for free hall rental, OCOF, prepared by Denis.
Yes, your worship, similar, it's not, similar to this Springs event, but not the same organization. They are requesting the free use of the hall. Again, it's always with the same end goal of providing something for a specific group of, that could be considered vulnerable. It's open to the community, so there's no limitation. There doesn't seem to be any cost, and it seems to be a benefit to the community overall. And it would be up to council to consider waiving the fee. Again, always with the same caveat is if there's excessive cleaning and if there's damage, that the deposit should be considered. Again, it's one of those things that it's an overall benefit. And I did also add in the report that we got a thank you email from the previous organizers, and obviously they got the message that if they are to repeat this, that we're going to promote the event. And this event is scheduled for
Next week.
So obviously the condition is that they will have to advertise, and hopefully they will get a broader pickup than the previous event, which is a different organization.
Okay. Comments?
I'm in agreement with their recommendation. The only thing, like you mentioned, hopefully they advertise more than the previous one, so they can, especially if, we're giving this, giving them the opportunity to use their facility, they should advertise, especially the area.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Loftus?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the recommendation.
Okay. Councillor Deschamps?
I'm also in
Councillor Petit, sorry.
I'm also in agreement with their recommendation. If we can have them share a sheet or something, we can post it on the community website or the municipal website. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Councillor Deschamps.
Yeah, I'm in favor for the recommendation.
All right. Therefore, move ahead. The recommendation to waive the fees is accepted. Next, report to council, park improvement prepared by Denis.
Okay, so some relatively good news. So in the case Popular did approach the municipality, and it's been a few years that they do promote by giving out funds to community to help build the community. He has, the general manager, Stéphane Méthode, has indicated to me that the case is ready to donate $5,000 to something permanent and physical that is community facing, because that is part of goodwill gesture on the case. So I did meet up with the manager, with the mayor early on this spring. We showed him two potential projects. One is the gazebo, which I will expand to on this because we are moving ahead with that one. And the other one was a fence around the pickleball court. In the 2025 budget, the Director of Operation did identify $5,000 towards fences and berms. She did reach out to one vendor. When we often use is often lowest price. We will get more quotes, but the cost for the fence around the pickleball court came in at just over $10,000. If I $10,500.
Yeah.
I'm having problems with my glasses here. With the $5,000 from the case, the $5,000 in the budget, we would be short $500. We can also ask the case to step up and give an extra $500, or we can absorb the $500. So the recommendation to fully complete that project would be to approve the $10,500. Obviously, we'll go for a second quote, making sure that's it's a reasonable price. It's over $10,000, so additional quotes are required. But if council will agree to the upset limit, we had got confirmation from the case. The difference in the budget right now would stand somewhere around $700 because there is a bit of tax implication. The other project, and I'll just bring council up to date on the shelter and the gazebo. Obviously, we ran out of time before the fall tournament, so it was not time to rip up that section of property before a major event. The gazebos that were proposed from Amazon, I did reach out to the company. I did get the engineering drawings that comes with those gazebos. In discussion with the chief building official, they do not meet the minimum standard required for a public venue gazebo. So I could not proceed with the purchase of that 20 by 24 Amazon. We wouldn't get approval from the CBO. I did check a few others on Amazon, and I did even go to Costco on Monday, look at the brand name. You go on their website, they're not for commercial use. Snow loads must be swept off in midwinter, would not qualify. In that sense, now the only option left is, so I did contact the school board that just built one at École Saint-Antoine, which is a 14 by 12 or 14, yeah, it's in metric, so it was almost 7,000 millimeters. Anyways, it came out to 14 by 10. Their budget for the school board was around $60,000. Our current budget with the grant is around $12,000 because I was with council. I was going to take the one from Costco or the one that are beautifully built but do not meet the public requirements of an stamped engineering drawings. Because you look at the posts, most of them are just hollow posts. They're just built. So even if we tack on the 5,000 from the case, or even a bit more, if we go to case and ask for a bit more, we're going to be around 15, 16,000, 12 plus 5 will be 17, even if we go to 20,000. It still would be a significant amount. We're still doing research. The Director of Operation will be looking at, they built another one at the Chartrand Park in Wellville. So hopefully we're getting, but we're still nowhere near what we have in our budget. So the option, which again, it's not what we want, but it's in our range. I did talk to CRCS, which is a recreation company, to LAS Purchasing Group. We can get for lack of a better word, a tent that's 20 by 20. So it's solid metal posts and it's a canvas on top. It's not like a cheap vinyl thing. You would have to remove the vinyl in the winter and replace it every 4 or 5 years. You would have to buy new vinyl. This is not uncommon. I did go to the splash pad in North Bay, and they have a similar one, which is basically, it's super, like big metal steel, big tarp. They have 2 picnic tables underneath. It's nothing cheap, but it's not the beautiful gazebos that we've seen looked on Amazon or the one sitting in Costco in there towards the middle of the store, which you look there, says this is what we want, we need, and unfortunately there's a price gap, and unless we find anything else, there's a significant price difference. So even if we apply the $5,000 for the case towards that, we'd still be short unless we would get a in-kind donation from an architect, a donated lumber, stamped lumber, or anything rare in the middle, because we have to do the piles, either sonotubes or the helicoils, which again, everything costs. So at this point, I still recommend completing the pickleball court. It would be done by a contractor, and as soon as we get a second quote, it wouldn't be the delay we got to this point. It would be almost within the schedule of the contractor. So hopefully it wouldn't be too much of a delay. As for the shelter, we have to expense out the grant this year, which is the unfortunate part.
Isn't the grant 40,000?
Yes, in the grant, we have benches, tables identified. We can switch money, and that's also we can do, but I would have to contact them. It's because the grant was made for seniors enjoying the park. So the shelter is one part, but you need benches, you need a walkway for them to be able to get there. Yes, we can do a walkway without paving, but we still need to do a walkway. We can shift a lot of money towards the shelter. We still have time. Unfortunately, at this point, by the time we build it, it's still going to be in mid to late fall. So if council wants to wait, we're working on if we can get a pricing from the contractor that built the one at Chantron Park. Maybe we can just pay the architect a right to use. They don't have to draw anything new.
How big is the Chantron Park?
It is very large. It's more of the out structure where their stage is. It's not more like a gazebo, but it has the structure of the top part
Yeah.
that would be.
Okay.
So at this point, I do recommend the fence, and unfortunately, we would have to revisit this in September 3rd, but at that point, I have to expense. We have to decide, we're building this, and if it's the shelter portion, it takes 2 weeks to come in. They're putting the piles in the ground, it's just contractor, and you don't even have to, because you have to put away for winter, so the grant would, for the most part, be expense and for what it was meant for. But it's not what we want. I wasn't really imagining the true gazebos that was either identified at the previous meeting, but at this point, unless we can get some contacts, some builders that want to do in-kind contribution, that's where we're at right now.
And are you
Yes,
okay.
that would come to the end.
That's it. Okay. Do you have a cost thing? Like you said, every 4 years or 5 years or whatever, we'd have to buy new vinyl or a new tarp for the. Is that an expensive endeavor, or is that something that?
I didn't price it out individually,
Okay.
because it's not really my preferred. Like I really,
No.
It's, if I can find an alternate solution, but I can find out, by
So-
fall.
So
By
right now, you
September
want us
3rd.
to decide fence, yes or no, and,
Both of these, like the fence, it's in our budget, there's no rush to spend it, the case is in no rush to give us the money now. He just said, propose me a budget, a project. A public facing, something permanent project, we're all in.
okay,
If we wanna wait on both account for September 3rd, and if council knows somebody that, that could potentially, cut our costs, to get that gazebo in, because right now, I've just been, the easy option of like click Amazon, order delivered tomorrow is not working.
okay. Councillor Boyce.
I'd like to see one project finish, and I've been to the pickleball, and unfortunately, there's kids or people going with dirt bikes. I've seen traces, so I think we need a fence ASAP on that pickleball before it gets ruined. We have 5,000 in the budget. I want to bring, I would use the Case Book letter, the 5,000, and get it done and over and fini.
Yeah.
We need this done ASAP. So for me, I'd rather see the Case Alliance grant towards the fence of the pickleball. For the gazebo, I guess if we can get more feedback with the one from French River. I just don't, can you clarify, so it's 40,000, so you're just taking 12,000 for the gazebo, like?
So in the grant application, I had to demonstrate in the grant how this would benefit the seniors in the community. So the seniors would provide a bench, provide a walking path, provide shelter from the sun. I can modify, move between, we can buy, maybe not less benches, but maybe less expensive benches, but anything
I'd
commercial.
rather something more sturdy, a gazebo, more like money spent towards a gazebo than a bench and a path that we can, I don't know, work with the
And-
path.
And council can also put funds in next year's budget to bring in tables, because
Yeah.
there's 2 metal tables there that are dedicated for the Sawmill Park. It just, we're obviously using all that we have,
Yeah,
but those 2 would go to the park.
okay. So yes on the fence,
Yeah.
but you'd like to have more, maybe September for the next meeting?
No, the fence, I want to
No,
get
no,
it
the
done.
the
Oh.
fence, yeah, I know that.
The gazebo, yeah, we can get more information.
All right. Councillor Loftus.
Yeah, the fence is important, and also I know that, earlier when we were building the pickleball, there was a concern with noise, like the tuck, 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 and we were talking about maybe trees, for the road. So I'm just wondering, you know, because with the, like personally, I know when you're playing pickleball, you're having fun, but then there's music and then, you know what I mean, people laughing in the tuck, tuck, tuck. So, I mean, I think if we had trees to block it, maybe a sound barrier. But I'd like to see the fence done. And as far as the gazebo, September 3rd, if you can bring us back more information from French River, and, you know, maybe we could look for people to donate, you know, our local businesses to donate a little bit towards the gazebo and have like a plaque.
Okay. Councillor Putzi.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the fencing. The height of 5 feet, I'm just, I know we're trying to keep it low and somewhat accessible. I don't know if it's like going to be high enough, or if that's going to be an issue. Like, I know it's not like tennis where the ball is going flying 20 feet up there, but the ball can still go flying. I think as long as we keep it, like, I don't know what design we're looking at for the fence, like keeping it somewhat accessible from each angle type thing is what, I think keeping it mostly open, is it?
Walking path in towards the pickleball court would be an open space.
Okay.
And around from where the gravel pad is, the fence would be set back just a bit beyond where that ends, all the way
Yeah.
around.
But
I
there would
think
be-
it's a chain link, right?
chain,
Yeah, would there be openings like at the ends, or,
just at the end where the access is.
cause I'm just like, at 5 feet, I see the ball probably going over a lot, I'm just wondering, maybe we should look at having an opening at each end
So that-
somehow?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
So when I reached out to the vendor, 5 feet was like the typical
okay,
go ball size, just because the ball's dense and it doesn't go flying up as high.
okay, yeah, I don't know if it's, I mean, we could look at it and see if it's gonna be too much of a hassle, but I just think if the ball goes over, then, well, 5 feet's jumpable for some people, but maybe not the target audience for the pickleball court. Yeah, it's just that way people don't, if the ball goes out, they don't have to walk all the way around, yeah. And then the gazebo, I'm just looking at what the current recommended gazebo, I don't know if it was a typo here, but at 25 or 30 by 25 hip and ridge shelter with a 10-foot eave? It's a 10-foot eave,
Yeah.
Or
it's
10
ba-
inch.
It's basically, I should have put a picture.
Yeah,
It's
it
4
would've been-
posts connected with metal
Yeah.
bars.
with an extension.
And I did get a revised price within my price range because, and it's a 20 by 20 would be $13,000.
20 by 20, yeah.
Yeah, it would be in our range because this one is 16.
And
Oh.
it's fairly, I think I saw the picture
I
I
got
saw.
the revised pricing, which I only got yesterday, sorry.
Yeah,
It's
no.
a fairly sturdy post that goes
Oh, it's
into it
metal,
and-
it's,
Yeah.
you can hang from the post, it won't bend, it's not your Costco, or I should say Costco, you said your Walmart gazebo where the bird lands and it
Yeah, it bends, no,
bends a bit there.
Well, these are tin roof shelters, that's what,
No,
oh, that's,
what's quoted there's a tent,
oh, okay.
But
it's
it-
a sturdy tent that you can walk on.
Yeah. Okay. And I was just curious because it says 10-foot eave, so that's what the pitch is or something. I
Yeah,
don't
so,
know.
and then I reached out with the same one, and she sent a picture, and I could forward a picture after the meeting
Okay.
with council. You'll understand, whether it was the same one she quoted me, we do have to realize that some, if not most of the recreation stuff, or came from the States, that may no longer be available right now.
Yeah.
Is also an issue of certain, providers.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have any recommendations right now. I mean, we if we can get like a pre-engineered kind of drawing, that we might be able to piece something together. Might be able to get community involvement in that, but I think otherwise we look at what we can get within the grant application and go from there. Yeah. Bring some options to us on September 3rd. Maybe we'll throw some your way as well.
I did see the picture and it's not an ugly, it would be attractive and it would do, it's just how often the tent has to be, that tent portion has to be changed and how costly that is. Whereas a tin roof where, well, it's there.
We've had to replace it quite often, I think, on the last one.
It,
Never. I don't think we've, yeah.
Councillor Deschamps, any questions?
Yeah, I had a question kind of along the lines of Councillor Plessis about the 5-foot height of the fence, but not so much of the ball going over the fence, more if you're just thinking a chain link fence, people reaching over to hit the ball, like, would we not have to put some kind of protection at the top of that mesh, of that chain link fence? Like, I don't, it's either you go with the extra foot higher or, 5 feet is kind of armpit height on a lot of people, I would think. Well, maybe not most people, but a lot of people. It's just, I would hate to see some kind of issue coming from that. I have a list here of people, recommendations maybe we can look at for in kind for building or some materials for a gazebo. Another option I did kind of think of, we're looking for shelter from that grant funding, has to be toward the elderly. What about finishing the dugouts at the baseball fields? There's no shelter over top of any of them. Half of them aren't done. I don't know, that was started a long time ago, it just never seemed to have got finished. So I don't know if that would apply to the criteria of the grant, but it would be another
Unless seniors are playing baseball, would be different.
watching, I don't know. So it's difficult to get money for seniors playing sports, but they're
Yeah,
trying to
I
apply
have
to
enough points
pickleball,
out
so,
there.
I don't know, just food for thought, maybe there's other ways we could do it that kinda meet our needs in more than one sense. Yeah, other than that, if council wants to go with the fence, I'm in favor, but I just would really like to see if there's some kind of option for where the chain link comes to the top, or if we go a bit higher, just, I wouldn't wanna have any issues with that going further, sorry. And the gazebo, again, I think it's a great idea. Maybe we have to get community partners involved that want to, like Councillor Loftus mentioned, a plaque or, some kind of recognition for partaking in that.
Okay, so from what discussion, the fence is a go. Within the realm of 10,500 or better. And we're gonna wait till September to see what else can be thought of and brought up for the gazebo. Next item, 443, report to council, OTF Trillium Grant Community Programming.
Okay, yes, your worship, as everyone knows, we went through the strategic planning process, and in a sense, two major outcomes of that grant or recommendation is one, that we invest in a community program coordinator, and second, a economic development, community development officer. I'll speak to both because there's some update on both of them. So the first grant that was identified is the seed funding that's due next week. After discussing with I did 3 calls with them to try to get the best grant forward. As they say, they reviews 9 out of 10 grant applications that go their ways. Unfortunately, 10% leaves it difficult to get approval, so we have to get it right. In discussion with them, there was 2 options. One was the create a plan, for lack of a better word, a master recreation plan. This is how the programming will have in St. Charles. That would not deliver sports. It would just be a paper exercise to, we have 20 kids that will play this sport. We should deliver this time of day, this time of week. Or we could take the results of the Facebook strategic plan and maybe continue asking what is important to everyone. But in the application, I have to be specific to I shall do a learn to skate program. It has to be physical in nature, so it cannot be an art class. So from the Facebook survey that was completed, I am proposing that we do because I had to over the years, so, and it cannot be groups or, it has to be inclusive, so it has to be open and accessible to everyone. It cannot be, shouldn't be competitive, could be competitive, but that said, so I did some research on the salaries of a program coordinator, and that's mainly why it's here. So if council's agreeing to learn to skate, basketball for youth, ball hockey for youth, and soccer program, and I was told I shouldn't mix my groups. If we're applying for one group, youth it is. We can have different activities, but I can't have youth and seniors. I could put it in, I would lose points, and then you get into the 90% quite quick. So to stay in that 10%, hopefully it'd be successful, the grant, it should be to the youth, and I think it's pretty much agreed that the youth was always the target of the programming, even though we should have all groups involved. And the other question I did ask, I said, what if the learn to skate doesn't work? Can we consider so? She said yes, as long if you tried it, it's not successful, you contact OTF, you say, hey, learn to skate wasn't a success, maybe you learn to curl. And then we do a program to learn to curl. Because obviously that's not it's not an association, it's not tournaments outside the community, it's for the community learning. So it's not like minor hockey. If you want to do competitive curling, you would have to do it, but not say through the grant funding. So The salary, because I'm putting this application forward, and I would just want to be, that council understood, I did an online search, which I'm pretty sure I put in this. It basically came out that the average recreation programmer, Zip Recruiter, came at $25.70 an hour. So I'm putting the application for that, so for that salary, so I'm aiming at $26 an hour or 35 hours a week. And then there's benefits to that, so we have a cost of $60,000 for 26. I could put a bit more, we can ask up to $100,000 for this grant, but just considering the higher we ask, if we're towards the 9 and 10% on the list, sometimes it's the grant that fits that gets the funding. It's up to council. It's 100% funded, so there would be no cost. I did revise, after talking with Trillium today, I would put everything, equipment has to be portable, it would be eligible if it's portable. So a basketball net hooked to the wall is no. A basketball
Okay.
net on a base that we can wheel out, it's allowed. I did go online, I am revising those numbers, and I would suggest, or we just go with 4, I think they're $500 each or $700 each, it comes out to $3,500. The true height net that you can adjust for different age groups. So the equipment I would supply, 3 different types of soccer net, a full size for the 13 to 18 group, and then there's a size for 9 to 13 group. But I'm just going to add more equipment. I'm just going to add it into the grant. So if council's agreeing with the principle of it, I'm going to put the application forward. I just want to make sure council is on agreement on the salary or the general range of the salary before I put in an application, and then why are we paying somebody only this or really? So it's to attract somebody. So I am suggesting if council is agreeing with this, the grant will be submitted probably by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. And you said it's 100%.
100%, there's no impact, but obviously, if we continue with the programming post-program, you don't want to give the card away if you're not ready to continue that salary post-grant. And you don't want to put too low that we can't recruit anyone of, say, quality or experience to run the program.
All right, thank you very much. Questions?
I'm in agreement. The only thing is, don't we have portable soccer nets and portable basketball nets? Could we put the money towards a like the sports carpet instead?
It is portable, technically.
For me?
It is technically portable.
I could ask,
I'm just curious, because.
yeah, I was thinking about that, and I can ask by tomorrow. It's a simple phone call, and if I could, I would put the carpet that we can lay on the ground. And I think we have, I don't know if it's ours, but there's one in the arena of the basketball. So
There's
if
only
you would,
one
if
left,
you're,
or
I
Didn't we
would-
have more than one before?
I would
No?
go with 2. The soccer nets, we have the Bambins and 2 the young ones. We don't, for the age of 13 and up, they use
Okay,
the
the bigger
full-size
ones.
professional,
Okay.
Yeah,
which is $1,367 on Amazon times 2.
yeah. And that's metal, no, they have to
2-inch
be.
metal galvanized pipes.
Okay,
I just think the sports carpet, if we're gonna start using the arena, I think it would be a good investment.
Okay, I'll check, and if I could put it in, that would be my first, now that you're mentioning it, it's maybe worthwhile going less on the other one to get the carpet. Because all you need is a full basketball side court, and they have all the lines,
yeah.
so you can,
Yeah,
that would be for spring and fall, like pre-ice and post-ice.
Yeah, would be nice.
that's it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, good idea. Councillor Loftus?
Yeah, I'm in agreement also. I'm just wondering though, like, if you were hiring somebody, would this be just like a trial for a year? Because if we're putting, if the person's getting 60,000, if it's not working where it's not feasible, are we gonna be putting this into the budget? Because with our roads and everything else, I don't want our budget to,
So this is a contract position of 18 months, and we
18
will make
months.
sure they get concurrence from the union that we're not displacing any work.
okay, that sounds fair.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's all.
That's it. Councillor Patsy?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the recommended resolution. I just have a question though, cause here it's called Community Program Coordinator, but in a different report it's called Community Development Officer. I know there was a little bit of, we're trying to discuss the wording and the title and everything and how to go about it.
So, community program coordinator is basically somebody doing programming, so we can call it whatever it is. EDO, we're just community development officer. You can call this a community development officer, but it's not actually in the strategic plan. What was mentioned as economic
Yeah.
was more towards businesses. I'm working on the grant. I was trying to have it on this one. I only got the answers after the agenda closed. The Rural Ontario Development Fund and FedNAR will not typically support a community development officer. They're more in an economic development officer geared towards businesses.
Mhm.
I'll bring it in September. That's what they fund.
Yeah,
And if we do what I suggest, that'll be a 90% funding, so we won't be too bad. But unfortunately, community programming coordinator or community development officer, or
they're the same.
the grant says we have to do this. So
Yeah.
it's not like we can try to ramp up business for the arena. That's not what they want. They want programming. So unfortunately, the grant doesn't do what we would want to do. It's not saying that if you are planning a, say, Learn to Skate program, that you can't say, let's do a poster to promote activities
Yeah.
at the arena. Because it's not like somebody's gonna be watching over your shoulder, but we do have to have the deliverables in a report back to Trillium.
Yeah.
And it's not to say it can't be expanded on after the trial period if we see, if council sees the feasibility of it and that it has benefited the
Benefits,
community. Yeah. Yeah, and as far as the plans or the recommended sports go, I think that's great. I think it could be beneficial to add baseball in there even. I know that's one that the kids often like to play in the summer, so they play it often enough as it is, I think, too, so.
But it'd be nice to have organized,
Yeah.
your name, you're playing Friday night, 8 o'clock, like,
And-
that's what we need.
Yeah, and I think it's important, it's like, this isn't necessarily gonna be a 8 to 4 or 8 to 5:30 job, it's almost entirely gonna be like evenings or, it's,
geared
yeah,
around the program.
yeah,
You're working Saturdays, sorry.
yeah, yeah. Perfect, well, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Deschamps?
Yeah, I think any opportunity that we have to get a fully funded position or any kind of activities for the municipality that's fully funded, I think we'd be silly not to apply for it. One thing I was just thinking quick of adding to the sporting equipment, that's, you said has to be portable and reusable. I wonder if those reusable jerseys, like the blue, red, whatever, the ones that just go over like vests and such, wouldn't be a bad idea for certain
Teams,
teams
yeah.
Yeah.
youth
Like just
activities.
Sports
Yeah.
tees.
Yeah, exactly, just reusable type, so help manage the participants at least a little easier that way. But other than that, I don't really have much input, maybe, roller, like, again, if we could use the surface, when the ice has gone for like roller derby for the children or roller blade or any other physical activity that we can get them out of, off their games and out and about and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so, I'm in agreement also that like, it's nice to have activities to keep the kids busy and occupied and happy, so, as opposed to wondering what they can do. So everybody's in agreement, move ahead with the request for the grant. Next, report to council legal representation at OLT hearing. Again, with yourself, Denis.
Yes, your worship. As council remembers, there was a recent decision made by council regarding a dock on at 26A Lake Road, which was not in favor. It's being appealed at the OLT. The planner, and the lawyer, I did have correspondence that are very self-explanatory why they do believe that the municipality should retain legal representation. I will not go over their recommendation. It's pretty clear that they have a strong point. There's no way to, it's not in the budget, but regardless of that, it's a 7,500. I did put an upset limit of 8,000, but for 1 day representing the municipality of St. Charles, there's no way to recoup that cost. That would be a direct expense to the municipality. Whether, just to be in general, whether we win or lose the appeal, it would only be the conditions that the lawyer puts forward, which is a bit, we would have to do like errors to get charged back, or to fees, like if we don't show up to court and it's delayed and there's additional cost, then we can be added penalties to it. But there's still a risk, and that's what the lawyer did. Obviously, it's the same lawyer that would be hired to represent us. And also the planner, because he is, as he may know the Planning Act, he may not know all the legal aspects, one being asked by the board. So it's on the recommendation of the lawyer, it is recommended that we retain a lawyer. On spending $8,000 or $7,500 at this point is like, it is what it is. After the recommendation from the lawyer, it's pretty much it stands on its own.
All right.
I just have a question, I'm not sure if you can answer. Being that the planning board gave us the recommendation to deny, shouldn't they also be responsible for this?
Well,
my understanding is that it's a St. Charles case. It's a St. Charles fee. If it be an error or a decision of the planning board, it would be responsible. This was a decision of the
Community of Leadership.
yes,
adjustment. Yeah.
community of adjustment, which is directly under the municipality. So if that decision, if it be like a consent issue, I could see the argument where it was the decision of the board. This was the decision of the committee of adjustment.
Yeah. But I see what you mean. It's still the decision was
Brought forward to us.
recommended by.
Recommended by.
Yeah.
We don't pay enough money and
I know. Just kidding.
option one it is for myself.
Okay. Councillor Loftus.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because based on his report and his information and the pictures and the whole spiel and his recommendation, that's how I came to my decision. You know, I'm not an expert on these things, but you think that the planner would have, like, I mean, I don't know, like, let's hire a lawyer, unfortunately, let's hire a lawyer, because, for the $8,000 or $7,500, you know, we can get, representation for ourselves. It's unfortunate, but we have to.
Councillor Petit.
I'm more of the thought of, you know, as much as the planner gave us this recommendation, we also voted for it, and I think we still stand as it's the right decision. I think we need to defend our decision. You know, the infraction that was done was build first, ask for forgiveness, and I think that should never stand. And it's not a house, it's not a garage, it's a dock. At the end of the day, it should be able to be moved. I think this falls on the owners, unfortunately. They're seeking an appeal to the decision. And, I mean, at the end of the day, anybody could appeal any decision.
That's
So, the cost, we could see that cost on every, on every decision that is done. So I think at the end of the day, we need to defend this, and I vote for option one, so.
All right, Councillor Chance.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think no matter which way we would have decided, there was an option for appeal from either party, and I do strongly believe that we made the right decision. So it's a shame that we have to spend tax dollars on defending it. But I'd assume after this case, if the land tribunal does favor with the decision that was made by council, going farther, if the plaintiff were to go any farther, then we'd probably be entitled to some reimbursement after fact. But if it dies here, at least it's $8,000 to kill it, and that's it, that's all, in my opinion.
All right. So therefore, it's overwhelming. We go with representation. All right, now we are at our first consent agenda. Are there any items in the consent agenda that anybody wanted to have withdrawn? Before we go, no? Yourself, Councillor Framboise? Councillor Loftus?
None for myself.
Councillor Petit?
None for myself.
Councillor Deschamps?
Not for myself.
Okay, can I have therefore,
Can I just add though, it was brought to my attention, if we can prioritize completing, the minutes, the agendas for 2023, 2024, before the 2025, yeah.
Yeah.
If possible, looking forward.
yeah, okay. So therefore now can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Loftus and Councillor Petit.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Putzier. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles approves the items of the consent agenda under section 5.1, and be it further resolved that Council receives the items of the consent agenda under sections 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. So now we move ahead to past 5.7. Okay, now we're into unfinished business, a resolution from Committee of the Whole regarding, what's this one again? Apportionment for the municipality of St. Charles,
Are we
711.
receiving the correspondence?
You're missing.
Or
That
that's-
was in there.
That was,
That's
that was,
part
that
of
was
the
all
consent.
done.
oh, okay, that's all part of, okay.
That's why I questioned if, was there anything that's, anybody wanted to have removed from, and have as a discussion? Okay, so that, if there was anything, and I believe we've started to have
The consent,
for the correspondence being sent.
yeah, apologies, I apologize, I would thought it was, only the minutes that we were discussing at first, but, I see now that the consent agenda, adoption was for all the items, item 5, yeah.
Yeah,
I would have just, liked to have asked for item 5.311 to be added to the.
you would have liked to have a discussion on 5.311.
Well, I don't know if a discussion yet is needed, but I think that should be added to the fact that the ongoing issues with the provider.
Yeah.
That's my only comment on that. I don't know if we need to pull it out to have a resolution on it, yeah.
Now that we've voted, it's done.
Yeah, okay,
So, but for,
yeah.
There's no learning curve for the first time doing it.
okay, so, can I move in a seconder for, apportionment? Councillor Loftus and Councillor Laframboise?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. whereas at its committee of the whole meeting held May 7, 2025, council was presented with the Sudbury East Planning Board's 2025 apportionment for the municipality of St. Charles 2025 budget and annual audited financial statements for 2024. And whereas council deems it desirable to approve this said apportionment, be it therefore resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the Sudbury East Planning Board's 2025 apportionment for the municipality of St. Charles in the amount of $24,312.
All those in favor? Carried. Now we are moving to closed session. Can I have a mover and a seconder for close? Councillor Potier, Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Councillor Pache and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of St. Charles hereby opens a closed session at 7:25 p.m. to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, as authorized under Section 239, Bracket 2, Bracket B of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Topic: request to work from home. Next, labor relations or employee negotiations as authorized under Section 239, Bracket 2, Bracket D of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Topic: probation and for Director of Operations.
All those in favor? Carried.
Okay.
It's
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
It's a lot
Thank you very much.
easier.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
night.
No, you're good.
Who's James's?
We are back on the air.
Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder to reconvene? Councillor Potier, Councillor Loftus.
Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Loftus, be it resolved that having dealt with all matters pertaining to the closed session, we hereby reconvene to the regular meeting of council at, let's see,
8:25.
8:24 PM. Sorry.
Oh, all those in favor? Carried. Direction was given for the matter pertaining to work from home, and I'm happy to announce that our for Public Works, Michelle Clark has been moved up to the next scale. Next, confirmation bylaw, mover and a seconder. Councillor Laframboise and Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives first and second reading to the following bylaw. Bylaw 2025-35, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting of council held August 13th, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried. Third and final reading of the confirmation. Councillor Loftus and Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Potier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2025-35.
All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Councillor Lachance and Councillor Laframboise.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Laframboise, be it resolved that the regular meeting of council of August 13, 2025 be adjourned at, here I go, 8:26 PM.
All those in favor? Carried. Meeting is adjourned.